Well, what's up YouTube? COD4Man221 here, and welcome back to Grenadiers 2 Online Replay. We are playing as a good old USA. Someone pointed out that I hadn't done the USA in a while, so we're gonna be playing as them. Anyway, you can see we're on a map I don't think I've actually ever shot a video on. It's called Hill 400. It's one of the community maps they rotate through. So we look at this map here. Lipton's in the north. He's in the color yellow, and Nick is in the south as green. Lipton's the Russians. Sorry, Nick is the Russians, and Lipton and I are both the United States. We're going to be fighting over the center of the map here. Lipton's going to be covering the north, and obviously Nick's going to be in the south. But he's basically going to realize I need to guard my flank. Anyway, so let's talk about the map here. This little watchtower is great because you can see I basically have no line of sight, right? I can only see basically up to here, but once you capture this guard tower, which is a little overpowered, I think we're going to see the line of sight just go crazy. So we're going to go from here all the way out to here. Look at that. That's a ridiculous amount. And we're going to turn off the fog of war. So I'm going to be battling on the top here. And what I like about this map is that there's trenches, there's cover, there's some nice scenery to be fighting over. There's especially defending the hill. It just feels pretty cool. Now I also have some more riflemen coming up here. We're gonna try to push this guy back. And if he takes the victory point early on, that's not a big issue. We're gonna actually pincer him here. And should be able to wipe out his squad. Now there's a machine gun setting up in the trench here, so I'm gonna actually outflank it because it only has this this arc here. So he's actually gonna immediately see us and try to reposition his MG, but I'm just gonna chase it and not let it set up, so he's gonna be pushed back there. Lipton is basically unopposed to the north. Our opponents decided to double the south, which they are currently doing. And Nick does have some maxims, which are actually going to be nerfed here on April 21st, a Thursday. That's why I'm recording this a little earlier than I wanted to, because I want to make sure I get this replay in before the game updates and wipes out the replays. Very typical. So I'm going to wait to get some more gameplay until after the update there. Anyway, so let's talk about the Doctrine I went with the infantry company. What's great about this is I'm not going to use the mortar half track. I'm not going to use, actually I'll use pretty much everything else. But the great thing is I can build rifleman defenses, and this will help me out a lot because there's a lot of this open area here. And I definitely want to build, well, it also lets me build fighting positions with these guys. So what's nice is that I'll be able to actually build a lot of defenses on the hill here and help defend it. So that is why Lipton is completely unopposed up north, and we have our field pretty secure. And my opponent has 3 machine guns. I've been going up against MG spams a little bit lately. He actually doesn't even have a he hasn't even built a barracks yet at 3 minutes in. That's very strange. Anyway, Lipton was pushing against the machine guns. I was trying to help him out here. And I cut off their line of sight here, and the machine gun's not facing the right way, so I'm hoping I was going to try to take that, but these guys came in. So I'm going to have to fall back here, but that's not a big deal. We do have some defenses being set up, and we can upgrade with nice machine guns, 50 cals. And I do have another squad come take the position, so we can still hold enough of this. And it's what's really cool is they have tank traps here also. Like it's a cool looking map. I definitely give the creators some credit here for making this. I'd like to make a map one day for COH too. I don't know what I would call it. No one would probably download it if I made a cool map, but I know they have a map creator, so maybe I should look into that. But this is just a cool map, especially in the, I don't know, just like, you don't really get this in the regular maps or victory points are fought over. And it'll be interesting to see what the next, if they're going to make more factions. I almost think this game came out about 3 years ago in June. Yeah, 3 years ago, 2013 in June. I think they should stop adding factions and just make Company of Heroes 3. I know they like to milk the game for as much as it's worth. Skins, other things like that. But they should really just update the engine here. Or just make it, like they can make this game look better. And fix some stuff that's going on. Like maybe they can improve pathfinding in a new COH. But they should also really release the Company of Heroes games with more than 2 nations. As we saw early on in COH 1, it was just the basic Wehrmacht in the United States, and they added the British on, much like they did in this game. And they had the OKW in this game, and the US. So it was originally just a two-faction game, and now they've added three. But, you know, we really need the Japanese. I mean, I'd even take a nice little... I like the idea of a Pacific expansion, so, like, do a nice little story of Marines taking Iwo Jima. You have Okinawa. You have a lot of the Philippines. You have a lot of battles you can do. You can even incorporate maybe some naval stuff into this game. Unfortunately, look at that great mortar support from Nick. Thank you, Nick. Just push those guys off, because I can suppress this machine gun here. I'm basically just going to defend the hill here, so that's my job here. You can see someone blew up. I think it's a little generator here with the fuel. And I'm just going to sneak past this MG here, or I thought I was. But I got suppressed even though I'm like behind it, so I got to pull back from there. They have MGs and mortars just covering each other. So I could really use... You know, Nick's mortar support is really helping out, but I could really use some of my own machine guns here, so I'm going to try to get some of those up to the front lines here. And Nick has... I basically put a bunch of tank traps here so he can't get outflanked, and then I kind of just forgot about this unit. I think I'm going to put some... Oh yes, he'll get stuck. I'll put some barbed wire on the other side of these tank traps, and these guys will get stuck for like most of the game. And we have a 50 cal moving up. Good old American firepower. One thing I don't like is that these guns don't set up automatically. You have to set them up. Like, that's just kind of stupid. Like, you should just... Like, an AT gun's not just gonna... They're not just gonna sit there and hold the AT gun up for, like, forever until you actually set them up. So these guys should, you know, automatically be set up here when they stop moving. Anyway, this position's screwed here because these guys have anti-tank, but I do have units to help cover. This Nick does have a second mortar. And keep in mind, if I get a nice grenade here, which I'm doing, if we look at my bullets, you can actually see we can throw grenades further and they're cheaper, so that's definitely a good thing here. You can see Lipton's just been pushing and even stolen an MG34, I think, from the OKW here. No, it's an MG42. So I'm also pushing up, so Lipton and I are doing a good job here. Nick's kind of helping with the mortar support. That's very much appreciated, because that's the one thing the U.S. doesn't have early on, are mortars. So it's great to be able to respond to that. And now I have another good old 50 cal here, and you can see there's definitely doing some damage, killing some units over here, countering the German mortars. So good job by Nick. I'm going to push on against these guys here. This wasn't the best idea considering how low health my unit was, and these guys are pretty good at close range, but my lieutenant should be able to clean them up. And he's going to have to withdraw here. But there are bunkers here on this map, which is another cool element of this Hill 400. And you can see an MG did get wiped out there, and grenades are great in those bunkers. Anyway, you can see this MG was kind of glitched the way he set it up, and the men were kind of still over here. So, to be a little, that kind of sucks. He's going to try to get his guys out there, and he's going to get wiped out. So I'm going to have to pull back with my lieutenant. I could really use an ambulance up here, but I'm grabbing a major, so I'll have to get an ambulance when I can. But the shock troops are 6 kills already. A nice grenade right there could actually kill or hurt one of those units pretty badly. And shock troops will destroy Grenadiers unless there's a ton of them. And at this point, we're also going to see that our opponents have set up. We see 1 fuel cache right here, and we see 2. So now we know that's their plan. They're really trying to hold the south. But they don't really have anything but some bunkers here in the south. You can see 1 is right here, and they have their headquarters down here. So they don't really have any forces here. I like how this is just in the crater there. So that's kind of interesting how they're giving that. I have captured this. I don't want the enemy to see our, you know, be able to, with this gain the line of sight over a large portion of the map. I don't want them to be able to actually see where our units are and direct their mortar fire. Lipton is still like unopposed here and is taking over this whole area. There's even a little church up here. Cool. And he keeps outflanking them, but he's forced to fall back again. But a nice grenade there, managed to wipe out a squad. I'm throwing a grenade at the engineers, the pioneers here, just trying to push them back. But we are in heavy cover here. I was thinking about possibly moving up my MGs, but it's the squad screwed. Nope, Fallschirmjägers can't hit anything up close. So now we have all three guys here. So it's basically this is a very favorable position for us because we have two guys up top. Nick and I are both here with a lot of machine guns and fighting positions. Great rifle grenade right there, and we could basically hold the hill here. And Lipton's holding our flank pretty well, and they're not pushing from the south. And when they do, they're coming up right here at the side of our defenses where we have other machine guns here. And I'm also building sandbags to help protect the mortars of Nick. And I don't think, do these guys have precision shot? No, that's right, they removed that a long time ago. So I've just started, as my units retreat, when they're down to like one man, I'm giving my men 30 cals. And oh my gosh, 30 cals are so good against infantry. Very munitions intensive, but we have both munitions currently. And so we're getting a lot of munitions. And Lipton just keeps moving on in. He's retreating to his ambulance here. And he's giving his men some bars here. And I'm just going to start pursuing some of these mortars, just push them back at least. So you can see the red player, I think it's, yeah. Arsch hair. Hotter. Why don't people have names like Benny, like that, see, or like a ninja, like things I can actually pronounce. Oh boy. Anyway, grenade going out against the AT there. Not gonna do anything. I gotta pull back. But I'm like, if these pioneers actually trying to pursue these Fallschirmjägers, who's actually pushing deep into our lines here. And you can see we're actually doing a decent amount of damage against these guys here. We have more Fallschirmjägers. I'm going to try to wipe out this squad if I can. But we're going to have to actually let them go because these guys are doing a lot of damage here. Grenades going out, just trying to get them out of cover, force them onto the open ground here. They're going to pop their own grenade, but I'm going to respond to this and push them back there. And yeah, they both got away. Anyway, so I'm grabbing an ambulance. I know I can get a Sherman here shortly, so I figure it's important to keep my troops alive. And Lipton's using his captain to actually destroy the fuel cache. These guys, so they're really desperate for fuel. They've got a Panzerwerfer to try to bombard our position. Now here's we're very vulnerable to Stuka-Sufus, to Panzerwerfers just pounding this area where we have a ton of, you know, condensed troops here. But it's going to be harder for those guys to get close unless they get right around here. So these are going to probably hit Lipton here. Wiped out a squad that just recently manned that. I'm grabbing a Sherman here. So I do have the ambulance, and we do have my majors all set up here. I don't know why I said major funny there. And I can heal and reinforce my troops now, and all my squads are now equipped with the 30 cals, so we should be good. I'm going to start healing up Nick's units so he can actually keep some of his conscripts more easily alive. We're really taking advantage of the German heavy weapons they're leaving behind by taking their, at least Lipton is. Might need to get these guys out of here. Yeah, he's gonna retreat. Now, I guess that's one reason to use those guys. Anyway, Nick has a nice T-70, and what I'd like to do is I would actually like to destroy these two fuel caches in the Orbital Blitz truck if I can. There's nothing really protecting that. And keep in mind, with the fog of war, we can see this outlined on the map here. You can see that there's an Orbital Blitz truck there. So, and down here, we can see it with the white line. So just keep that in mind if you're playing against the Germans. Bear in mind. And yeah, that was devastating. A whole 6-man squad wiped out there. Anyway, while Nick is distracting, I'm gonna take a large force south here and just push in. So they're holding these guys off. Lipton's up there to help him. And also attracting the attention. And I actually just wiped out an MG squad, and these guys are getting wiped out here too. So that's another squad that's about to get killed here. And we're going to try to kill the Oral Bloodstruck. Now, he was not packing up, so I think his attention is probably up north. So that guy's gone. I'm really trying to kill the fuel caches. They spent a lot of manpower on these fuel caches, so it'd be important to take those out if we can. We got hit by something here. And now we've gained their attention.
Enemy forces now have 300 points remaining.
So you do have to be careful here. But keep in mind, I still have infantry that are on the hill here ready to do some battle with some of these units here. I'm going to try to get them into light cover. And these guys are in the middle of the road here, and I'm just going to have my Sherman just start shooting it right into them. And grenades going down, so it looks like an advantage for my opponents with the extra units they have here. Just turned into a massive disadvantage. They took heavy losses being on the open ground there. I don't know if that's just playing smart. Anyway, I see a bunch of the player in red now since I'm close to his headquarters and does not like this. So I just don't want to get Panzerfausted. Hey, I said it correctly this time, not a Shrek like that. So I was trying to avoid that. So I'm going to try to get out of here. I do have 1,000 manpower, so I should really be using that. I'm just feeling Ninja just laughed at something. Wow, that really hurt. I got to pull back with these two these two squads. Anyway, they're going to grab their flamethrower again. So he's actually not pursuing my damaged tank, which is nice. And we have this fuel cache is still standing, unfortunately. But we still have most of this map. And I'm going to grab a priest here, I think. They don't really have any heavy armor to threaten us at this moment. Maybe I'll grab a Jackson to kind of be safe. So this crew's actually Vet 3, so they can actually do the critical repair if I need to get the hell out of there really quickly. But I wasn't getting pushed, so. See, they have two of the Werfers, and they're just shooting into our positions over here. Now, it'd be great if this had the... It can't reinforce when it has the anti-air package, but those things used to be critical to every Soviet's arsenal. I was looking at some Conan Paris 2 videos a little while ago, the very early ones, and this game has changed so much since the beginning. I mean, besides the new factions I was talking about earlier, it's just really, I think it's gotten better. I like the new units. The Pershing's pretty cool for the United States, but we also have just a lot of, I think it's gotten better over time here. And certain things have been changed on maps. It used to be ridiculous. I know, I'm pushing in. I want to do some battle with these guys here. I got my troops healed up. And we are still shooting into these units here, who are actually shooting with the Panzer Shrek there. But he's going to retreat once again. If I can actually get some nice... Oh, never mind, I did get a priest. And look, he saw where I was here, so there's the danger. We're getting actually pinned. So I'm reinforcing. So I do have my priest that's taking aim at the base here. So I'm going to try to get close enough that I can actually call the time on target artillery barrage. So that I can wipe out this headquarters. And my plan was going to be to hopefully push south here and try to take the field away from them. Now these 2 points are the points we need to cut off their fuel, basically. And you can see the heavy artillery is going to come down here. I would not want to be one of these medics, because that can happen. Anyway, I'm going. He brought 3 of his half tracks way too close. So at least I got one of them, and I'm not going to pursue any further. gonna pop smoke too and then keep retreating. But yeah, that was close. I do have 20 kills so far, and we're close to hopefully taking this guy out on the second attempt here. Now he does have units that knows he wants to probably fight me. And that grenade should kick him off the heavy cover there, as well as do some damage. So that's bet 2 squads almost wiped out. These guys are getting wiped out up north here. They have to fall back because these guys are moving in, but I have 2 more units here, so we're basically winning the infantry battles against their units pound for pound, and we are getting quite veteran. So I really like the infantry company. It really makes the American infantry very effective against Wehrmacht units. Well, these are OKW units, but just against any kind of infantry, really. And we got our opponents basically cut off here. I basically keep having these kind of flanking moves on this side here, and they're kind of pinned to kind of along their baseline right here. And Lipton's held the north pretty well, and we're getting a lot of munitions, which is going to help me hopefully destroy this thing again. Now, something pop smoked here. I think it might have been one of their aircraft, because it makes no sense why any of us would pop smoke there. So we are repairing, and the priest is ready. You can see my guys are kind of stuck here. And I'm going to give them a hazard removal kit, try to get themselves out of that in a little bit. But wait, there's no real push in the south here from our opponents. And this is what we all feared, a King Tiger. So that's like I'm going to take another AA. 18 on AA. And these guys are really close to their base right here. Anyway, that King Tiger's one-shotted my whole squad, so I'm telling Nick and Lipton there's a King Tiger right here. We should be careful. I have 1 Sherman to take out a King Tiger. And I had a Jackson coming up, so that's good. I gotta pull back with this squad. Hopefully they don't get wiped out by the King Tiger, who's gonna turn his gun here. I don't think he will. Killed 1 guy. So I did lose a squad, but actually lost my lieutenant. So they're pounding us with artillery, but if they can't defend their artillery like this, Lipton can just push on in and kill some of them. He's on the wrong shell though here. This is critical. He needs to be on armor piercing. Actually, well, for that light of a vehicle, I guess not. Anyway, I'm going to try to hit this guy's armor here. So hopefully, yeah, we're pushing him back. I'm calling artillery behind him, hoping I can actually catch him in it. But he's going to maneuver this way. So my artillery is going to fail, but my Jackson and Sherman have managed to push him back, make him think twice about trying to take this, even though it could very well probably destroy both of these guys here. Lipton has some anti-tank coming up, which is good. So our opponents, with what little fuel they are managing to have a King Tiger. Nick has taken out the bunkers down here. So they basically just have a King Tiger. And a bunch of artillery that's been getting destroyed. Basically a Panther's coming out now, so now our opponents are getting a bunch of tanks. But at this point, they're really not getting that much fuel. Let's hop on to like a ninja here. About 24 fuel. And a lot of the fuel they've spent has been getting destroyed here. They just can't seem to deal with the American infantry, and the hill is basically ours. We control this map here. Even with the King Tiger, we have enough to probably stop him. So I was letting them know that the King Tiger is actually moving up towards Lipton. He's actually in their base here.
You've got a captain hitting the field.
And yeah, once you get into the base and breach those, look at that, bet 3. Wow, they just wiped out his squad, but they almost wiped out 2 of their squads. They did wipe out 1. So we also have a Pershing over here from Lipton that should help deal some damage to these guys. They actually can't hit anything right now. We have a lot of armor, and even this Panther is in trouble here somewhat. from the ATs we have positioned. So the hill is basically a fortress here, and no matter what they've done to try to knock us off of it, they can't. They're not really doing anything. That's when our opponents decide to surrender. So game to them. I think Nick and I and Lipton worked as a pretty good team, especially in the center here, supporting each other. And then we were able to basically just kill their fuel cache, and we would eventually have been able to destroy this base down here. But our opponents are running out of fuel. And we had enough troops to basically hold this. And I hear the kills and deaths here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next Grenadiers 2 online replay. Code for my 221, signing off.